For a number of different reasons, you have control over the ingredients. You know what's being put in the food. You can pick the amount or type of sweeteners, salt, seasonings. There's no added emulsifiers or additives that can cause inflammation.
Why do you think that's maybe even more important than this whole big protein?
I do think protein is very important.
Emily Maxson, a cookbook author and health advocate, is passionate about simple, fiber-rich meals. After overcoming Crohn's disease, she now shares easy, gut-friendly recipes to help others live healthier and more balanced lives.
If you were to purchase the cheese already shredded, you think, oh, this is just cheese. Well, turn around the back of the package. There's cellulose in it and other things. That's great for the cheese company, and I get it. They had to do that.
So what are some natural ways to add more fiber? I mean, you mentioned a couple of them. What are your favorite fiber-rich foods that maybe people wouldn't necessarily realize are high?
I love making slaws. So I have slaw recipes, short for coleslaw, but different flavors, and that's just a great way to get fiber in. Roasted cabbage, but
welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast, where we empower you to take charge of your health and happiness. We're Marnie
and Stephanie,
board-certified integrative health practitioners, holistic wellness coaches, and passionate explorers of all things mind, body, and soul.
Each week, we bring you expert insights, real-life stories, and practical tools to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you truly want to be. From longevity and nutrition to mindset, movement, and healing, we dive deep to uncover the root causes of wellness and vitality.
Join us and our growing community as we explore what it really means to create your art of living well in a way that's authentic, sustainable, and uniquely yours.
Emily, welcome back to our show. We are so excited to have you on, and we're really thrilled to be in Emily's Fresh Kitchen, live and in person, which we haven't done very many of. And you were first on our show, I was looking, it was back in 2020, episode 40.
wow.
So, it was a long time ago. And at that time, you were just about to launch your first cookbook, which was Emily's Fresh Kitchen, and we just both love it. We make so many other recipes. We've given the cookbook out as gifts, and you actually had your cookbook as part of one of our January detox programs a number of years ago, and all of our participants just loved it because so many of the recipes are just made with whole, nourishing foods. Really, all of them are, which is part of your health journey. So if you haven't already listened to that episode 40 where Emily shares your health journey and how you really healed yourself from Crohn's disease through the power of real nourishing food, go back and listen to that. And we got a sneak peek of your latest cookbook, the PDF file, which I actually made a couple recipes this summer. They were so good, and we're really excited to have your cookbook that just was published very recently. And we're excited for your upcoming cookbook launch party and all things Emily's Fresh Kitchen. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun to see both of you again and all that you have done. I'm excited. I think about how that episode 40, and you guys are close to 300 episodes, if not more. I mean, all that you have done with the Art of Living Well and your podcasts and all your programs that you offer for people. It's really exciting to see how much you both have done with your business.
Thank you. So before we dive in and talk about your new cookbook, one question we want to ask is beach walk, mountain hike, or yoga mat? Where do you feel most at peace?
That is a great question. Great options. I love a good beach walk, something about the ocean, the salt, the sun, that I would say beach walk probably, or mountain hike. Both are great. Just being outside. I love it.
Yeah. And you're a fellow 29029 Everesting participant, which is so fun that we have all that in common as well.
Yes, and hopefully maybe I'll get to do Whistler someday, which I know you did. So
I did.
that's a whole other conversation, right?
Yeah, it's a whole different conversation. What an experience. That was incredible.
Anyway, we have you here today because you have created another beautiful cookbook, and we're so excited to talk about it. And I know you came on our show, as Stephanie mentioned a while ago. What was your thought process, and what were you focusing on this time around?
Well, thank you very much. After I published that book, I felt like I still had some more to say and more recipes to share. And I just kept writing and kept creating more recipes, and I wanted to focus more on fiber-filled foods, and after I had done as I explained in the first book, I spent 18 months following a very strict diet to heal my gut from Crohn's disease, and I was able to go off all medications. So once I had my gut reset and I no longer had to be so strict about what I was eating, I wanted to share how do you maintain that? How do you keep a healthy gut, but still enjoy a little food freedom? So I just wanted to share more fiber filled recipes. And another thing I learned in the process of following that diet, I couldn't have so many things. I started reading labels. I became an avid label reader and I just had to learn and I was shocked at all the different things that are in foods that we purchase in our grocery store that we eat, not knowing these additional ingredients that you wouldn't think would be in the food. So I wanted to share a little bit about that. I also wanted to share some tips and tricks for the kitchen just to keep things simple. I'm all about cooking at home and keeping it simple.
Love that. And Stephanie and I think fiber is so important. We've been talking so much about fiber recently. So this is a very relevant topic. And same with reading those food labels. Like, again, we have taught this sugar workshop for years, and it wasn't all about, but a lot of it was trying to understand the hidden sugars and all the ingredient lists. So, again, I think this topic in your book is so important.
And you mentioned it's so funny that you want this cookbook to be about fiber because I feel like fiber is making a comeback. And like Marnie said, we've been talking about it. We actually have a free guide on our Substack that has, fiber rich foods and why fiber is important. And there's been so much focus lately on protein. I would say the last 2, 3, even maybe more years. So, how did you come up with this idea about fiber for the cookbook as far as being fiber focused? And why do you think that's maybe even more important than this whole big protein, push right now?
I do think protein is very important, but you're right. It has been the focus of our attention in the health and wellness world lately for the last year or two, and it is we need protein. But I find it's easier for me to get protein in than fiber, and just I mean, your meat or things and fiber only comes from plants. And so we do need to be eating more plants, not only for the fiber, but for the micronutrients that are in these plants that we can't get from high protein or animal products. So I wanted to just share the ways I get protein in my body. I'm sorry, fiber. The way how I get yes, how I get more fiber in and just like through adding vegetables to some smoothies and you can't detect the taste or adding
Can you give us an example of what kind of vegetables you like to add to your smoothies?
yes, definitely. So there's a cherry and cauliflower smoothie. Cauliflower is a very mild vegetable, high in fiber. Pop a little frozen cauliflower or fresh in your fruit smoothie. Throw in a little handful of kale, spinach, obviously. I have a smoothie in the book with red cabbage, pomegranate, and strawberries, and you do not taste the cabbage. And I love cabbage, but
I saw that recently and I was super intrigued by it because I do cauliflower rice in my smoothie like every day. And so I love that, but I had never thought about putting cabbage in. So now I think I have one coming to my CSA this week. I'm going to have to try it.
Well, and I kale that just came in my CSA. I always do spinach, but I'm like, maybe I'll try kale. And it really doesn't give you that strong kale flavor.
it depends on, what you mix it with. I
Yeah.
have a blueberry kale smoothie in the cookbook. And also, if you're adding kale, I recommend running your smoothie setting twice or just blending it a little bit because it's pretty fibrous just to break it down so it's a little smoother.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about the protein, debate right now is so many then processed foods are having added protein. So everyone's just so focused that a lot of people, and I think, maybe it's kids or boys or girls who are focused on building muscle, they're just eating bars and sticks and processed food. Like there's chips now made with those protein
Right.
chips, right?
Yep.
Where I think with fiber, you have to be eating whole, rich, nourishing foods to truly get fiber. Although I know there's a lot of protein or fiber powders out there as well, which we can dive into.
Well, and I know people always think fiber equals beans, but actually there's so many more ways to get fiber than just beans, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of seeds and some, whole
Mhm.
grains and obviously vegetables and fruit. There's a lot of different ways to get it.
Exactly. So what are some, like, natural ways to add more fiber? I mean, you mentioned a couple of them. Like, what are your favorite fiber-rich foods that maybe people wouldn't necessarily realize are high in fiber?
I love cabbage. And so I have
Are you a
I
bunny?
well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I love making slaws. So I have several like slaw recipes, short for coleslaw, but different flavors. And that's just a great way to get fiber in. Roasted cabbage. I roasted cabbage. It's an easy thing to do and so good. Just carrots. Like I have a roasted carrot and miso butter soup. And
Mm.
I like to roast vegetables and puree them into soups or chia seeds, all the seeds. There's a seed cracker recipe, like in made out of pumpkin seeds and flax seeds and chia seeds and sesame
Yeah.
seeds. Just great,
Yeah.
great ways to get fiber that actually delicious.
So do you need a special cracker dehydrator, or could you just do that right in your oven?
This is a recipe for your oven.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, and someone may be intimidated by thinking, like, making my own crackers. Like
Yeah.
Marnie said, "Do I need a special equipment?" And I've made them before, and they're actually a lot less intimidating, but maybe talk about, like, how simple it is for people. Because getting back to your point, like, your goal is to make healthy and nourishing cooking easy and simple.
Yes. So it is a simple recipe. It's just taking water, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, the different seeds I've listed in the recipe, and pouring hot water over it in a bowl. And you let it sit for 30 minutes. So kind of the flax has like a gelatinous texture that comes out. So once that gets, you spread it out on a sheet pan, a parchment lined sheet pan, sprinkle it with a little kosher sea salt or Maldon sea salt,
Mhm.
and then pop it in a low oven. I think my recipe is like 300 degrees, 320. I'll have to look. And then you just bake it for, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, and then pull it out and let it cool and just break off into these crackers. And
Yum.
it's super easy and it satisfies that craving for something salty and crunchy if you want to put your hummus on it or sprinkle some on your soup. So you're having a
Yeah.
delicious cracker, but you're adding more fiber to your diet or your meal.
So when you make the crackers, how long do they last in your house?
They don't last long.
One day?
No, they'll last a couple days. You just put it in an
Yeah.
airtight container, but it's
Right. But
yeah.
I'm saying, like, before they get gobbled up, not
Yes.
last in terms of how long they taste good for.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I made that, my husband would eat the whole pan in one sitting. But
Make it often.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There are worse
For
things that you can be eating
no,
all at
I
one
think it's a
sitting, right?
great
Yeah,
option.
yes.
It's crazy how the number on the bathroom scale can ruin your day. I made an exciting discovery that changes all that. I stopped focusing on weight and put my energy into reshaping and rediscovering my body's true potential. Creatone by Brickhouse Nutrition was created by doctors specifically for women. Creatone helps me look more toned, defined, and sculpted without increasing diet and exercise. Yes, without increasing diet and exercise. Creatone is radically different from guys' creatine. It's designed for women with pure creatine and patented ingredients that reshape your body so you look leaner, trimmer, and more toned. No water retention, no weight gain, and no bulking up. And it boosts metabolism to help you burn fat. That's a plus. Break up with your bathroom scale and watch how fast Creatone can help you look leaner, toned, and sculpted. Let's get you started today with 20% off your first order. Visit tonetoday.com and use my code LIVINGWELL for your discount. Again, use my code LIVINGWELL to save 20% at tonetoday.com.
Well, let's dive in and talk a little bit about just cooking at home and the benefits on a healthy gut. There's so much discussion, even still, on gut health and having a diverse microbiome. A lot of people are taking probiotics and other, there's so much marketing around probiotics now. But really, one of the best ways to like ensure you're having a healthy gut is just to be cooking at home. So, can we dive in and talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I've always said that cooking at home is one of the best things you can do for your overall health. For a number of different reasons. You have control over the ingredients. You know what's being put in the food. You can pick the amount or type of sweetener, salt, seasonings. There's no added emulsifiers or additives that can cause inflammation. And if you understand label reading, which you can pick products that don't have ingredients that you don't tolerate well or won't work well for your body. So, cooking at home, it does not have to be complicated. It can
Mhm.
be simple and with spices and onions and garlic and things that can be so flavorful, similar to what you would get in a restaurant or takeout food. And it's just so much better for you.
Yeah. And I mean, your first hand example of someone who did heal their gut. And we talked about this, I know, in the first episode, but the power of food as medicine, you're walking proof, so living proof. Yeah.
It really is. Yes.
So, as you talk about reading labels and trying to find products that don't have all the gums and the additives and the artificial flavors, how do you do that? Like, how did you become an expert in that? And what kinds of products are you leaning to using more in your ingredients that maybe have less of those additives?
That's a great question. Well, was on a very strict diet, so I couldn't have any additives. So, for example, if you were to have shredded cheddar cheese in a recipe, if you were to purchase the cheese already shredded, you think, oh, this is just cheese. Well, turn around the back of the package. There's cellulose in it and other things, which I think is even like ground up sawdust or something. I mean, when you really get into it,
Wow.
but it prevents the cheese from caking and keeps the shreds separate. Well, that's great for the cheese company, and I get it. I mean, I understand they had to do that, but those additives can cause inflammation. Inflammation leads to disease. And so, just a simple thing of buying a block of cheddar cheese and shredding it yourself at home makes a big difference.
So, the block of cheese is higher quality than the shredded cheese.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have anything added to it.
Interesting. So, but then I would assume it depends on the brand of the block of cheese and right? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, so I started a couple years ago, to your point, I started buying Parmesan cheese in a big block. And then my kids are like, oh, they want it quickly.
yeah,
Everything is fast. But now we just know, like, my youngest son is in charge of shredding the Parmesan cheese, and we put it in a mason jar in the fridge, and that's where it goes. And it tastes so much better because it's fresh. It's like eating a tomato from your garden versus
yeah.
one that is shipped from Mexico before it was even ripe. Similar. But you're right. I think cheese is a big one that people don't think of.
Yeah, I don't even think about it
No.
actually. So like when I go to I don't eat a lot of cheese, which is one of the reasons I don't think about
Yeah.
cheese a lot, but my family does eat cheese.
Right.
And when I buy Parmesan, a lot of times at the grocery store, I'll buy like the shaved Parmesan where they say they're shaving it like fresh.
Yeah.
But are we thinking that they're really not shaving it fresh? Now gonna go look
Thinking
at
that
it.
just
Just reviews.
Like you never know
Because
until you look.
totally, but I always think, okay, it's like the Whole Foods, shaving the Parmesan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can't assume anything,
Nope,
I've
we
learned.
can't.
And you have to turn the product around. The front of the product, the label is all marketing. Whatever free, fat free, sugar free, natural, all those
Gluten free.
yes,
Yeah.
organic, whatever. You have to turn it around and read the ingredient list. And if there are things in there that you have never heard of before, if you can't pronounce or your great grandmother didn't eat it,
Yep.
investigate further. See what is this ingredient.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And there's a balance, right? Like you don't want to become so obsessive that, and I've been like this probably at different points in time where I see something that gets brought into my house by another family member and I just want to throw it in the trash. But it's like, okay, how often are you using that product? Is it once a year for a recipe that's like a holiday dessert or something? And you kind of like, okay, fine. Or is it something that is frequently coming into your house and your family members or certain family members are consuming it on a regular basis, right? So there is a little bit of that balance, but education and being empowered with the knowledge on the label, I mean, that's just it's empowering.
Yeah,
And once you know better, you do better.
that's really what it's all about. It's not, I mean, we've been through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I know we've all done that program at different times, but I love the philosophy that we learned. It's crowding out. But the more you put the good things in, the less you have of those things that aren't as good for you. But it is all about moderation. And it's just about having the education and being empowered to make your own choices. What's worth it? What isn't?
Totally. And it's so funny because as you all know, I'm an empty nester. I've talked about this a lot over and over again recently, but I'm noticing that like I'm really cleaning out the house. Like we do not have a lot of processed food left in our house. And the other day, Jordan came home and he's like, there's nothing to eat in the house. And I'm like, open the fridge. We have tons of fresh food. We just have to make the food. And he was like, I just want a cracker. Like literally, because
To me and Emily,
I know. So I'm so excited. Now I'm going to make the crackers because I felt bad. So I went to the store and I bought him like the best crackers I could find, which he probably won't like. But it's funny how like as you're, like I feel like we had pretty high quality snacks, but now I'm like, okay, we don't even need the snacks anymore. Like there's no one eating the snacks.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well, let's dive in and talk about like processed food versus ultra processed food. And been a lot in the media about ultra processed food. And maybe just explain the difference for people that don't know that distinction and not that there's like a bright line in the sand. And which types of processed foods are fine and which ones, to kind of stay away from.
Are you loving this conversation and want even more ways to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life? Then we'd love for you to join our growing community on Substack. When you subscribe, you'll get bonus content and behind the scenes insights from us. Plus, you'll be the first to know about our upcoming programs and events. Your support helps us keep bringing inspiring guests and impactful conversations straight to you each week. So head to the link in our show notes, sign up today, and let's continue this journey together to create the art of living well.
Yeah, unless you're getting a fresh tomato off the vine or an orange or something like that, most food has been processed to a degree. Olive oil is made from olives being pressed. Yogurt is cultured, it's processed. Hard cheeses like Parmesan is aged. We have fermented food. All good foods for us, they've been processed to a certain degree.
mhm.
I think ultra processed is where these foods get stripped of their nutrients and broken down and had additives added to them to make them shelf stable, taste good, a ton of sugar added, all those things. Processed foods like the cookies and
Hostess cupcakes came to mind.
Yeah.
yes, I think breakfast cereal, frozen pizza, all those things. And they've made great advances to make food not perishable and things like that. But in the process of doing that, we're losing a lot of the nutrients. I know it's convenient, but it's just not as good for us.
You could argue it's not food, right?
Yeah, some
like-
things, Frankenfoods, they call it.
Yeah.
Fake food.
If it's sitting in your pantry for months and months, how can it be good for you? That's what I always
Say like canned tomatoes or something that's like in that realm. But
Yeah, and that would be processed, not ultra processed. Like obviously that's the ultra processed is you don't even recognize it from the original source it came from.
right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And then a lot of foods are like fortified with different vitamins and minerals. And it sounds like, oh, I'm getting more vitamin B or more folic acid. And that's not where you want to be getting your nutrients from, So stay away from all that for the most part, right?
Yeah, as much as you can. And like you said earlier, it's about just being educated on it so you can make the best choices for yourself. If you really love some ultra processed food and want to indulge in it once in a while, I think that's okay. It's just the overall everyday constant consumption that will really add up to not do well for your body.
And to just be aware of it, right?
Yes.
So you can make those decisions for yourself, for your family. So changing gears a little bit, I know a lot of people are intimidated by the kitchen. They're uncomfortable in the kitchen, uncomfortable, trying new recipes. What kind of tips do you have for people that want to cook more, but they want to keep it simple?
Well, that's a great question. Think of something that you enjoy eating and find a simple recipe for it and just don't overthink it. Just take a recipe. I like roasting vegetables and pureeing them in the blender with some broth and making a simple soup. Salads are fairly simple and you can kind of that's great. You can put in whatever you want with that. But yeah, roasting I think is this very simple method. Roasting and baking, grilling I think is really simple. It's just whatever you like to eat and finding a recipe and just trying it a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally agree. And, I think there's just some people that get overwhelmed and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like some technique but, you know, I would say like reach out to Marnie and I if you're that person because we can bring you on for a health transformation audit and we can really unpack like the specifics and find some recipes for you that are really simple that just have like 5 ingredients that almost anyone would have in their pantry. So, um,
And I'm just
small.
thinking about your cookbook, which I want you to
Yeah.
hold up since we're on YouTube to show how beautiful it is. But what are some simple favorite recipes in here that you have?
Oh, that's great. Well,
This is it.
okay, so simple, I talk about roasting vegetables and making a soup. There's a roasted carrot soup with miso butter. That's very simple. Roasted cabbage wedges, very simple. There's just grilled cilantro lime shrimp, super simple to marinate and throw on the grill. The coconut chia pudding for breakfast, very simple. I have a green juice recipe that's all made in the blender, and so it has more fiber in it. It's super simple. Just methods like that. Those types of recipes. I'm going to demonstrate a simple, high fiber breakfast idea, coconut yogurt chia pudding. So I take 16 ounces of coconut yogurt. Coco June is one of my favorite brands because it's really just organic coconut, water, organic tapioca, and probiotic cultures. So I'm going to add that to a jar.
I like that jar.
Oh, the Weck jars. I've never seen
Different. And is there a tie of floors?
I have wood lids and then I also have these plastic lids.
Okay, they come with the woodlets?
You have to buy the lids separately.
And then, is that like Amazon or?
Amazon, but I noticed Vivrant. Is that
Yeah.
my neighbor? Yes. So
He was that the knife lids?
yes, right. I just saw a little video on Instagram and they are carrying some of these Weck jars and lids. So pop in there and get some. Yeah, I've got to pop in there too and gossip as well. Yes, and they're gonna carry the new book too, so you can go there for the book.
Well, like this little, like all your tools. That's so cute. There's a little one.
My little spatula.
Yeah.
I like these have very wide.
Yeah,
More to the wide mason jar.
Yes.
Yes. No, I like that too. And then I'm going to add some almond milk. And I like to use either the milk almond milk or the Califia Farms organic almond milk or Three Trees almond milk because they just have almonds, water, and salt. They don't have any of the gups. So those are some great brands to consider. So I'm going to add a cup of that.
Okay.
And then a half a cup of chia seeds. So a half a cup, that is 8 tablespoons.
So you're doing 1 cup of almond milk to a half a cup of chia,
Yes. 2 cups of the yogurt.
which is the whole container.
Yes, a whole container. 3 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Okay. And what kind of maple syrup do you like to use?
I just use a pure local maple syrup that I find
Just the hers are pure.
100% pure. And then I'll add a little vanilla. To add some flavor.
And do you add any kind of like cinnamon or any other seasonings?
Not in this one. I mean, you certainly can. Whatever you like. If you like cinnamon, definitely add it to them. Add it to everything. Yes. And I mean, cinnamon's great. It's good for you too. So super simple. That just took a minute to combine all those ingredients. You're going to mix it up really well and then pop it in the refrigerator and let it sit. I mean, I usually do it the night before, but I mean, a couple hours, it should set up. Those chia seeds will absorb the liquid and they will become kind of like a pudding. Yeah, like this. So
Yum.
here I have some that I made last night, and this is what it turns out like. So gonna put that. I like to top it with some berries. You can pick whatever kind of berries you like. You're going to get a little more fiber and flavor with those. And then I also like raw cacao nibs. Now this when my daughters went to college in Los Angeles area in Malibu, and we would go to Aramon grocery store, a bougie, the Bronast store where everything is super expensive, but they have all the latest in health trends and products and stuff. And I would love just perusing the aisles, and we would get stuff in there pre-made. And we had this coconut chia pudding that they made there. And when I got home from visiting my daughter, I said, I've got to figure out how to hate this. And I do. I eat it all the time.
Well, it's so easy. I mean, so easy and it's portable. You can make it at night. So for someone who's rushing out the door in the morning or kids that are going off to school, this is ready to go in less time than
And you're getting protein,
Yep.
fiber,
Yep.
fruit.
Yeah.
What else are we getting? Carbs. Like it's
healthy
healthy.
fats of the coconut.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
it's probably very satiating.
I'm actually thinking about my daughter who's in college, who's like struggling right now to eat the dorm food. She could make this so easily. She has a little fridge.
Yes. You don't.
She would love this.
Absolutely.
She just has to buy a couple things. I'm so excited. And I do think having a blender, if you don't have a blender, is huge, right? Like you can make so many things in your blender, from smoothies to soups to whatever. I use my blender every day. I can't imagine not having a blender.
Are there any other appliances out there that aren't, over the top, like big or, costly that you would recommend people that they must have in their kitchen, even someone who's a novice?
I have a lot of different,
Oh, I can imagine.
but I find
You can pick two.
But I find like what I share in the book too is everyday tools. Just
Right.
what am I using every day? I use my blender. I use a skillet, like an iron skillet, or a sheet pan with some parchment paper, a good chef knife, a cutting board. I like the flooser juicer. Have you seen those? It's just like they lay flat. It's just for citrus because I add a lot of citrus to
Yeah,
things,
I
like
do too.
lemon, lime to brighten it up. And it's just, I have a picture in there, but it's just a juicer where you cut your citrus in half, put it in there and fold, but it folds flat. It's not cupped, not round.
Oh.
And they're super simple. I use that all the time.
Okay.
A grater for shredding cheese. So that's way more than two, but
But those are basic
Simple.
things.
yeah.
Great ideas.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about something fun like sweets and desserts. And I know that, Marnie and I love a little dark chocolate, or I love sweets. I try to moderate it, but you have some great recipes, and I'm excited to dive into your new cookbook. That a lot of them are gluten free. There's a lot that are dairy free. You're using natural sugar versus refined sugar. Can you talk about sweets and how you can easily make some swaps to make them a little bit healthier? Maybe even have some fiber in them.
Yeah, definitely. I love a good sweet treat as much as the next person. I love a cookie, but if you're if you're baking it at home, it's going to be much better than something you buy in the store. I have I've learned to use sweeteners like honey, pure maple syrup, real applesauce. Maple sugar is a new product I've been using that I really like, which is just dried pure maple syrup that's ground up to a powder. So it has a consistency of sugar. Yeah, I have quite a few recipes for sweets in the book, and I'll substitute, like, there's a molasses cookie, like a ginger cookie. There are double chocolate cookies made with almond flour, dark chocolate. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Oh, almond cake, a mandarin almond cake.
Yeah.
So I have a question. When we're thinking about sugar content,
Yes.
do you think the overall glycemic load is going to be a lot less? Or do you think it's just that you're using less processed ingredients? And if you don't know the answer to that, that's fine.
Well, I think it's definitely less, but you also just have to be aware it's still sugar.
Right.
It's still
That's
going
what I
to
was
affect your
wondering.
body the same way. And, when you said fiber, like I use a lot of almond flour and things in my baked goods, fiber slows down the absorption of sugar. So I don't know stats or whatever, but I know in general, the least processed sweeteners are going to have a lower glycemic index than the higher processed ones.
And you're probably not going to want more and more. It's going to fill you up faster because or maybe it's going to be more satiating for that sweet, right? You're not going to eat 10 cookies. Maybe you're going to eat a
Maybe.
Or no, or maybe
No. but I think it does help with that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing about your recipes is some of them have nuts or nut butters, like those. Maybe this is your first cookbook, but they had peanut butter with like some quinoa puffs and a little dark chocolate. So you're also having like healthy fats and a little bit of protein. And then there's those almond joy bars from your first cookbook. I made it. I feel like my daughter was on a rampage one, like, as soon as the cookbook came out, and we had them like every week. So with those healthy ingredients and then the fiber, it's just going to also help with the spikes in your blood sugar.
Yeah.
I remember when I made one of the recipes with those puffed quinoa things.
Yes.
Those were like life-changing.
Yeah.
That was such a great find, and I remember you sent me to whatever shop online that you bought those at, and I was like, "This is amazing, like a whole new world." I'm not a baker, but, like, I actually made some of those recipes and enjoyed them.
Oh, good. No, I loved discovering that little crunchy quinoa
Yeah.
puffs. So good.
Yep. So, thinking about the kitchen again, can you suggest to our listeners, like, any really time-saving tools or techniques for the busy mom who's driving her kids all over the place and comes home at 5 o'clock and wants to put a healthy meal on the table, but is just stresses her out?
That's a great question because that's it, right? I mean, we all are short on time these days and we're reaching for whatever's convenient. I like to say cook once, eat twice, 2 or 3 times, add extra chicken when you're grilling, make a bigger batch, double batch of soup and freeze half of it in glass containers so you have something nourishing on hand. Yeah, cook once, eat twice.
Okay, so I have a question for you about chicken specifically, and I may just be weird, but when I make chicken, it tastes good the first time I eat it, right? Like it's either baked or grilled, but then I put it in the fridge and I want to go eat it the next day. If I reheat it in the oven, it's tough. Don't really want to eat it cold. Any suggestions?
Well, I can
How to
see.
keep it good?
Well, chicken, I would say for reheating, a thigh would do better than a breast because they're a little more resilient and have a higher fat content. Often, like those grilled Asian chicken thighs for my first cookbook, I always make extra of those, and those seem to do well reheating. But chicken breast, I think of cutting up and putting it in a salad or a wrap or something like that.
I have extra marinade, like, because I make those Asian chicken thighs all the time. And then I'll, like, have the extra marinade in the container, like, in the glass container.
So
and
it
then
stays
it
like
stays moist.
tender.
Yeah, so I always save some of that marinade and either use it as salad dressing or have it for the next day for, like, a chicken breast. It's another little,
But that it hasn't been added to the raw chicken. You mean you just add extra?
or, like, at the end. Like, if I have extra left, that I'll dip it in when it's cooked before I put it in the
Yeah.
fridge.
My husband always wants to nuke it. I'm like, "No." Like, I don't like the microwave personally, but microwave chicken is just to me sounds disgusting. So, sorry if anyone out there is into the microwave, but anyway.
I don't care for them either, but, yeah, you can reheat in a low oven or on the stovetop or even
Yeah.
just throw it back on the grill.
I haven't perfected that yet. Throwing it back on the grill is an interesting idea just to, like,
Just
warm
warm it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's so
heat, I feel like if it's
Yeah.
too high heat, then would dry it out.
that is an interesting idea.
Yeah, I use that reheat feature on my toaster oven a lot for that, and I just put the
Yeah.
meat in there, like, when I'm reheating it for lunch or something.
So, what was your favorite part of doing the book the second time around? Like,
Yeah.
what are you most excited about or what I don't know.
I loved being able to share some more information and just I always love my photo shoots with Baylin Fleming. She did all the photography for this book as well as the first cookbook, and she's so talented. So I have a lot of fun collaborating with her when it comes to photo shoot day, and I'm prepping all the food and we're working together on the styling. And she has just such a great vision, and she's just a great person to work with. When you write a book, it's a very isolating experience because it's just you. So it's always fun to collaborate with somebody and work through things. So that's one of my favorite pieces for sure.
And the photos are stunning in the book.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Looks good.
Yes. She's another local Minnesota and Modern Well member that we all know. So, okay. Well, Emily, people are probably drooling right now and very hungry as they listen to this episode. I know I am because it's lunchtime when we're recording this. Where can people find you, buy the book, some of your recipes, even instantly right now?
You can look at emilysfreshkitchen.com. A few of the new recipes are posted there. You can also buy the book. If you buy it from my website, you get a signed copy, free shipping, and it's also available in local stores, the Fox and Pantry, Five Swans, um, Gray and Excelsior, Golden Fig and St. Paul, and it will be on Amazon as well, so, of course.
Amazing. And again, this is what it looks like. But she also has a first cookbook, so I would recommend getting both.
Yes. I mean, literally, it's one of my most used cookbooks. And it's fall right now. So it's a great time if you need gifts for holidays, hostess gifts. I mean, stock up. Like literally, don't just buy one because it'll be gone. And then you'll want another one to give away. So yeah.
So as we wrap up this conversation, we want to know today, what does the art of living well mean to you?
This is such a great question. I remember, I mean, other than learning to nourish my body well and move my body and stay hydrated and those things that we all know about, I would say one of the most impactful things for my overall wellness that helps me living well is practicing gratitude. I did let's see, it was a devotional book called 1000 Gifts years ago. And I got in the habit of, they have 1,000 blank lines and each day writing whether it's raspberry jam on my toast or, the sunshine or
little
birds
things.
singing, thank you for a warm house on a 20 below 0 degree day. And just getting in that practice. And I've since done it about 4 times and I don't even need the journal anymore, but just getting in that practice of starting my day thanking God for all the things that I've been blessed with and turning my focus. There's always trials, there's always hard things, but just trying to turn my attention to what I'm grateful for. So practicing gratitude.
I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Sometimes we just get so bogged down in the little things in the day to day. And really going back to gratitude, it's internal and then it kind of spills outward to others. So
I agree.
powerful.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Well, and we may do some little short videos of Emily in the kitchen. So look out for those on social media. Just fun and sharing some of your recipes.
And good luck with the book launch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be there.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
Have
I
a
hope.
great day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, water
Yep.
and then 2 peeled oranges. That's going to be the base. We're going to one that up real quick.
I've never even tried blending oranges like that. That's so interesting.
And then I've got a cup of peeled and chopped cucumber. Yeah. Half a cup of broccoli.
That's what's throwing me, the raw
Broccoli, I know. That's why it's just a half.
That's why I'm really curious to try it.
You can use kale, a cup and a half of kale and a cup and a half of spinach. I've got baby kale here.
Okay.
And then spinach, about a cup and a half of each.
Do you think the baby kale is different than the long stalked kale?
Yeah, it's a little more tender,
Okay.
sweet, but I normally make it with regular kale, but I did not. Okay.
Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Living Well podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps more people discover our show.
And if you're ready to take your health and happiness to the next level, we would love to support you. Whether it's through our transformative group programs, personalized coaching, or functional medicine lab testing, we help uncover the root causes of your health challenges and unlock your vitality.
Visit www.theartoflivingwell.us to learn more and book a free discovery call. Until next time, keep creating your art of living well.